good morning, good afternoon, or good evening whenever you're watching this video. But just wanted to remind you of the fun that we normally have when we're together in class. So, in honor of that, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. Stir the guac, stir the guac, stir the guac. Anyways, I hope you start your morning off just as exciting as that was. So, now that you've watched me dance and look insane in my own home, we're gonna get started on what we're going over today. So today you're reading the next section of your packets, which this time you're looking at the key details. Fun. And so just like my table, remember when we are trying to summarize or come up with the main idea, we need those table legs, those details. And just like tables for the most part, unless they're feeling fancy schmancy, have 4 legs. So the important part is to find the 4 key details throughout the story. And I think the safest thing to do when you're trying that, something that I've kind of realized as we've gone throughout the year, is to look for the key details that tell us about our 4 literary elements. So is there a detail that talks about our main character? Is there a detail that talks about our setting? Is there a detail that talks about maybe some of the important plot events that take place? And is there a detail that talks about the problem and solution? And putting all those together to come up with a main idea. And obviously making it sound good while doing it. You don't just put 4 random sentences together and hope it works out. You put those 4 sentences together and you make it into one solid, awesome main idea. So just remember Miss Worthy's awesome table when you think about how to put together a main idea. Okay, so that is the first part. Again, if you do have any questions, email me, comment on the Google Classroom, or you can look back at your notes if you're someone who's like, no, I just need to look at my notes. We've drawn the table before. I think we've done it several times, honestly, and this is pretty much similar to what we were doing yesterday, except they're really wanting you to focus on identifying those key details and then forming the main idea, if that makes sense. So find those 4 key details throughout the story that you're listening to / reading today, and then go to the main idea and kind of put those key details together to where it makes sense. It's kind of the same thing we do when we're writing in class. We have our outline, we kind of jot down some ideas of what we're thinking about regarding that topic. And then, obviously, once we start to write the story, having all those short little ideas isn't always going to be, it's not always going to make sense. We have to add details. We have to put in those transitional words to make sure that it sounds good together. Then, for grammar, we get to cover fun times. We get to cover quotation marks, which I know was y'all's just absolute favorite part of grammar class, because quotations are they can be simple, but they can also be super complicated all at the same time. And it's really hard sometimes to use them in writing well. So this is something we definitely want to continue to go over. So quotation marks are our little, the little bunny ears that we use when we show them in person, like with our fingers. But they're the 2 little lines that we put at the beginning of a quote and at the end of a quote. And let's just remember that a quote is when someone is talking, and we're wanting to make it known that that person is talking. So that's something that we definitely want to remind ourselves is, okay, a quote is like when someone is talking in the story. So we need to make sure that we put a quote at the beginning and at the end. And remember, they're kind of small. So they're not ginormous covering the whole page or whatever. They're kind of small. They're just up at the top. And if the punctuation, so if when someone is talking, if there is a comma, a period, a question mark, an exclamation point, whatever it may be at the end of where they're talking, that punctuation mark goes inside the quotation marks. It goes inside of it. And we want to make sure that we do that because that really helps solidify like that punctuation mark goes with that sentence and with how that person was feeling or what they were trying to say. So just remember, kind of keep it all together. And those quotation marks kind of hold that emotion. They hold how that person's asking a question or how they're saying it together. So make sure you put those quotation marks on the outside of the punctuation mark. And honestly, that's about it. Just remember too that you're not putting a quotation mark around where it says, I said, she said, Jerry said, like whoever said something or he yelled. That's just letting people know who was talking. Because we have to have an idea, right? We can't just have like a ton of quotation marks throughout the entire story. And I'm like, who is talking? I have no idea who's talking this entire time. And you'll notice that when you read your books, you'll notice that it'll say, so-and-so said, or she whispered. And that lets you know, okay, this is the person that was talking, and this is how they were talking. They were whispering, or they asked a question, or no, they were screaming at the top of their lungs, being a little crazy pants. You get the idea. So make sure that stays separate. Don't put quotation marks around that. I know, again, that quotation marks are kind of annoying, but they do help the story and they do help things make sense. So if you do have questions about that, because I do remember when we went over that in class, that was definitely something that multiple people struggled with, kind of understanding how to navigate quotation marks. Just let me know. Or guess what? The internet is super, super helpful. And I'm sure there are more entertaining videos than the one I am doing right now. And they can definitely help you on quotation marks. Just make sure when you search stuff up, one, that your parents know, and two, that when you do it, even type up like learning quotation marks for 3rd grade. Because if not, it's probably going to pop up for like college age students, and that's not going to be helpful. So, because we're at the beginning part of quotation marks, make sure you type in learning quotation marks for 3rd grade. That way it'll give you more of a video based off of where you're at right now. Lastly, our writing assignment today. I want to take a minute to remind us, one paragraph is 5 to 7 sentences. Sweet, sweet childs. 5 to 7 sentences. And so that means that you should see 5 to 7 periods, question marks, or exclamation points. That is not 5 to 7 lines. Do not be counting your lines. Don't be doing it. Don't be doing it. I can see you through this camera. Don't you be doing it. 5 to 7 sentences. And this one today is kind of interesting. It says, like, would it be better to be an adult or a kid? And I feel like the only person who can really answer that is me, because I have been both. But I guess the idea more is look at how life is as a kid, and then how do you perceive life as an adult? You know, from seeing your parents, from seeing me, from seeing other adults, which one do you think is better? Being a kid is better. Just got that out there. You don't have to pay bills when you're a kid. So, but up to you. Make sure that once you state your opinion, though, because it's your opinion, whether being a kid or an adult is better, that you back it up with reasons. We just did that in our persuasive essay. You state your opinion, and then now I need some reasons of why is that your opinion, and why should I think that that's a valid opinion? Why should I even believe what you're saying right now? So let's just think about those things. Make sure that we do all of that. Don't forget to be reading on Raz Kids, please, because we need to make sure that our comprehension skills are not going away. And also, I'm going to say it again, I posted the cursive letter P on the page, and our spelling test is Friday. So hopefully we all do well on that. And yeah, so that's about all I got for you today. I hope you're doing well. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. Woot woot. And I miss y'all. I really hope all y'all are doing well. And I really do hope we come back to school. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be really, really sad if it turns out that the day before spring break was our last day together in class. So I'm really hoping that we get to go back before the end of the year. Either way, we don't have STAR tests, so we can celebrate. But again, hope y'all are doing well. Hope you're keeping up with your schoolwork, but you're also having a good time and enjoying time with your family. So reach out to me. Let me know how you're doing if you want. I would love to hear from you guys. Love y'all.